What's up guys, Hobbo88 here, welcome back to Assetto Corsa for the next Bathurst Hot Lap video, and you guys can see on screen exactly where this video is going. Last time we ran in the Torana A9X, one of my favourite cars of all time. You guys responded really well to that video. I was going to do something very different here for our next video, but you guys responded really well to it, and I got a heap of requests for more classic Australian touring cars. Mr. Good Latte had asked specifically for XB Falcons, which I don't have, but this is an XA Falcon, as you can see on screen, the John Goss Falcon from 1974, the Kevin Bartlett John Goss car that ran first place that year at Bathurst. For the astute people watching at home, you will notice it is a 4-door, not a 2-door. Ignore that. With all other exceptions, this is a pretty cool mod and very, very close to the proper car. As you can see, it looks pretty awesome, really. It is another one by Uncle Lem. Link will be in the description below. Same pack as what the Torana was in. And I'm looking forward to this video to see how this car stacks up against the Torana, but also how it stacks up against its real-life times that we saw from this car when it raced back in the early 70s. So essentially, we're looking at 1973, 1974 for this car. In 1974, it was only fast enough for third position on the grid. It did a 2 minutes and 35-second lap time, but it did obviously go on to win in the wet, very famously. You guys might remember that. But in 1973, this car, well, John Goss in an XA Falcon in the McLeod Ford was good enough for pole with a 2 minutes and 33-second lap time. Of course, that year, Alan Moffat and Ian Gagan went on to win, also in an XA Falcon. But the times that we're looking to beat this time is essentially a 2 minutes 33.4. That's what we think that this car should be capable of, based on its real-life times. However, we're really interested to see how it stacks up against the A9X. Similar era, a few years newer, and should be, judging on the records, about 8 seconds slower, this car, than the A9X. However, we will find out very, very soon when we hit the track and take this bad boy out for a few flying laps of Mount Panorama. Alright, here we go. Sitting on board the 1974 XA Falcon. We'll head straight out of the pits and see what sort of a lap time we can do. Oh, I love that sound. I love it. This is when race cars were proper race cars. The 70s. Man, I wish I was around back in these days to watch these things race in real life. I have a real appreciation for classic Australian muscle. So we'll head out on our out lap, get a bit of a feel for all this. Pretty big, cumbersome sort of cars. As far as how it stacked up against the Torana, and I could be wrong with some of these stats, but I believe it was rocking somewhere in the range of about 350 more horsepower. Sorry, 350 more kilograms of weight. This is about maybe 50, 60 more horsepower. So it was a more powerful car, but weighed more as well. Of course, other developments in this 5 or so years between this and the A9X Torana made the newer cars that bit quicker as well. It's not just about engine and weight. Man, I just love cutting laps of this track. Could do it for days on end, especially in a cool car like this. I know that everyone says, oh, Hobbo, you're a Holden fan. You won't do a Ford. I mean, these old Fords are as cool as any car out there. I'll happily admit that these old Falcons are some of the coolest cars ever to grace Australian racetracks, ever to grace Australian roads. Get to the limiter by the look a bit down the straight, are we? 217, 220 kilometers an hour, sorry. Just keeps on revving through the chase. Now, of course, no chase back in the early 1970s, so the lap times, if anything, should be even a little slower. However, I get the feeling this car is going to be fast. Based on this outlap, I actually think this car will probably challenge the 2 minute 22 lap time that we did in the A9X Torana. We'll see. As we set off on our first of 3 flyers. Here we go. What has the XA Falcon got for us? Good run through turn 1. Nice start. 3:05 on our outlap. We spent about 30 seconds sitting in the pits. So I think for sure we're definitely going to crack the lap time that we're chasing. We're 2:33. I honestly feel like a 2:23 is probably more likely for this car. Let's see what happens. Whoop, just rubbed the fence. It's all good. Over the rise here. Across skyline. This blind outlook over. Whoa! Lock the rears. A little too aggressive, perhaps. Over the crest of the hill there. Back to second gear for Forest Elbow. Try and get a good run onto the straight, which we do. It's feeling like a really good lap. Still only at 1 minute and 40 seconds coming down Conrod Straight. Through the chase. What are we going to do here? Is this quicker than a Torana A9X? We're up by 42 seconds. This is going to be very close. Through the final turn, up over the curb. What is it? Ooh, a 2:23.2. It's very, very close. We're at 10 seconds up on the time that we should have completed based off this car's real life performances. The real question now is, can it beat the Torana? Torana did a 2 minute 22.149, so we're only a second away. It's a cool hot air balloon floating up above us here. That's the sort of stuff that really helps with the immersion. The car feels a lot more planted than the Torana did. A lot more stable. Perhaps a little wide there. Let's try and not lock the brakes like we did last time. Much smoother down the hill. Carrying more speed too. This could be a threat. Wouldn't this make me sad? To see the big Falcon go quicker than the Torana. Someone was complaining in the previous video about the speedo being in kilometers per hour, not miles per hour, I think it was. You can see the speedo down in the bottom left of the dash. Miles per hour in this car. Get a nice run through the chase. I think this is going to be quicker. We're only up by 1/10 of a second by the look of that, so not a lot quicker. Just slightly as we start our last flying lap. 2:23 flat now. Can we find a second and go quicker than the Torana? revving it hard. Engine builder's nightmare. You'd never drive a car like this hard. Back in the early 70s, you'd blow up 5 laps into the race. Try second gear here at turn 2, see if that's any better. Oh, I crunched the wall a little bit there too. Again, coming out of the cutting. We got way too wide there. I'd cry if I hit the wall like that in one of these in real life. Oh no! We did what Alan Moffat did in the Brock Commodore. So we were not able to go quicker. That's such a shame. We got damage turned off, which is good. Be very, very disappointed if that happened in real life though. You can't just turn damage off in the real world. What a shame. Would have been interested to see how we were shaping up on that lap. I feel like we could have been a chance of going quicker than the Torana, but I'll tell you what, very, very close. Less than a second in it. But my beloved General Motors Holden A9X Torana will hold on to its pride just one more time. No 5th gear. I don't know why I was trying to go to 5th gear there. We'll roll back to the finish line and then we'll finish this one up. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've really had fun putting it together. I love, absolutely love these classic Australian touring cars. But next time we'll do something different. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see if you didn't in the last video. But we won't do another classic touring car. We'll do something different. Mix it up a bit here on the channel. But thanks very much for all the support, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at Hobbo88, twitch.tv/Hobbo88 for the live streams. And that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.